Hi, my name is Sarah. I recently took the ATITs exam for nursing school and I passed. So I wanted to share with you guys my tips and how you can pass as well. Now, if you clicked on this video, you probably know what the TEAS exam is, but if you don't, I'll explain it. It stands for Test of Essential Academic Skills. It is a standardized multiple choice test that students have to take to get into nursing school. I am currently applying for nursing schools and I had to take this test. So the test consists of 4 different subjects. It's reading, English and language, science, and math. So reading and science each have 53 questions, math has 36 questions, and English has 28 questions. And you get a certain time limit for each subject. If I can pass, you can pass. So here are my tips on how I did that. First, get this book. It's the ATITs study manual and read the whole thing. Yes, the whole thing. ATI is the company that makes the test. They're the company that made this book. So this book is super helpful and important because it's written by the creators of the exam. This book goes into full detail of each of the subjects and what you might see on the test. So yeah, get this book, read it, learn it, love it. This thing will be your life. Take the practice tests. This is also super important. So if you get this book, I think it's only like $25. So if you get this book, there are 2 practice tests at the end of the book. So what I did is I read through all of the subjects and then I took 1 practice test about a week to 2 weeks before my exam, and then I took another practice test like 2 or 3 days before my exam. So when I did these practice exams, I went to the library, sat down, pretended I was taking this test, and I just did the whole thing. And then afterwards, I reviewed everything. And that's what I really recommend, is going through all of your answers, the ones you got wrong and the ones you got right. It's important to see why the answer is the correct answer, and the book does a really good job of explaining why the answer is the correct one. So I would first go through the answers that I got wrong and understood why I got them wrong, and then I would go through the ones that I got right, just to reassure that I know what I was doing and I know why I picked the correct one. On the ATI website, they also have more things that you can purchase, more tests, more practice, whatever you need to do. I personally felt like the book was all that I needed, but if you want more, it's definitely there. Another thing that I did that was super helpful was I downloaded an ATITs app. And this app I just had on my phone, and it was super nice because it just gives you practice questions, a bunch of practice questions. You can pick the subject you want, you can do all of the subjects, and you just go from there. This is so nice because you don't need to lug around your big book. You can just have your phone. You can do it right when you wake up, right before you go to bed, when you're waiting in line, when you're waiting for another person. It's just really helpful and it's just so convenient to have. And then you feel like you're studying, even if it's just like 10 minutes, you are learning in those 10 minutes. And practice questions are also super important because it shows you the way exam questions can be written, because a lot of the time questions are tricky, and so it's good to have these strategies built on how to correctly answer the question without it tricking you. So I just felt like it was super helpful to just answer a bunch of practice questions. Since I've taken the test, I've got a lot of questions of like, what's on the test? Like, is it accurate to this book? All of that. So basically what I want to say is yes, I felt like this was super great. Another thing though, for the science portion, that was the hardest portion for me. I feel like it's really beneficial if you've recently taken anatomy. I felt like there was a ton of anatomy on the test, and for the science portion, I feel like this book isn't enough. Read this book, but also go further in the science portion. What I did, if I didn't understand something or wanted to learn more about a concept, I would just look up on YouTube, like type in what it was and type in like crash course or whatever it is, and there's a video for everything. People will teach you about the concept and you will learn it and learn things in detail. I feel like detail was super important on the science section. The science portion is so difficult because it's 53 questions, but it's on such huge topics. Like, it's anatomy, chemistry, microbiome, like there's so much to it that it's hard to know what to study, and that's where it can be overwhelming. So I feel like the book is a good guide, but then you have to take that extra step and go a little bit further. I would also recommend looking at your old like science notes, like reviewing your old anatomy notes or whatever it may be. I feel like that is also super helpful. So when you're taking the exam and questions come up that you don't know, so say it gives a definition of something and then there's 4 answers. So I like to look at those answers and see if I know any of them, because if I know them, I know the definition. So if I know the definition of them and it's not what it's asking for, you can cross that one out. That's a great thing about tests that have multiple choice, that you can knock some of those answers out and then you can go from there, and it kind of gives you a better shot at getting the correct answer. This exam is long and it's scary and overwhelming, but you can do it. I was so terrified before I went into the exam, like so terrified. I thought I was gonna throw up. I put so much pressure on myself because it is a big deal. Like, you want to get into nursing school, so you have to take this exam and you put a lot of pressure on that, but you kind of have to push that aside when you're taking the test and really just focus on answer by answer, because if you think about that, then your whole test, you're gonna be thinking about that and it's just not gonna be good. So just breathe into one question at a time. That's what I did. So use my tips. I hope that they are helpful, and thank you guys for watching. Good luck, and I'll see you later. Bye.